Good afternoon, Mr. President. Thank you for organizing this workshop. I'm very happy being part of this. This presentation, ladies and gentlemen, will discuss research results and efforts for innovative last-mile logistics solutions. It has four main components. The first is about solutions applied to city logistics and what was achieved by them. Then future changes and challenges in last-mile delivery. We discuss in the third part the four dimensions of research, what are the results of this research efforts and what are future needs in research for last mile delivery, and finally conclusions with a view in the future. In this diagram, you can see all the major measures and initiatives that has been applied for sustainable urban logistics. The work has been performed in 2018 and summarized the major pilot activities of research project, industrial pilots, and also measures that has been applied by the municipalities. So as you see, low emission vehicles are the most applied measure for city logistics, probably because they are easy to be taken as a decision. Urban consolidation centers, very popular, but not easy to maintain their economical viability. Low emission zones, strongly supported by EU, urban mobility package, the official policy of EU. They are also applied in order to support sustainable passenger mobility. However, we don't have around Europe the number that we would like to have. Micro consolidation center, the latest, very good entry to the market, and they will go even better. And as you see, also other solutions that has been applied trying to face the sustainable city logistics challenges. What we have achieved up to now, by these implementations. In fact, we have three categories of measures. Those that are related with infrastructure, and they are very much strongly related with ITS implementations. The regulatory type of measures, and the technology, again, very much related with ITS. So at the level of the regulation, the low traffic zones achieve, depending on the country, up to 27 or 12% reduction of vehicle kilometers and vehicles. The time of day charge, as it comes from New York, not many applications here in Europe. Only 9% of the transport operators pass the additional cost to the customers, and only 20% of the operators change their behavior at the end. The off-working hours delivery, again, data from New York, delivery cost minus 35%, emissions from 45 to 67, good result. Freight quality partnerships are measures that have been applied in Europe. Gothenburg in Sweden is one of the best implementations, where industrial parties together with the city agrees on collaborative schemes for serving the historical city centers. In that cases, we have very good collaboration and strong regulation applied for the entry of the historical city, and the violation by good vehicles of the very strict measures for sustainable city logistics has been very low. Measures related to infrastructure like urban consolidation centers, there are 24 of them being applied and developed in the cities around Europe. And you see different type of results. At the level of load factor, we had very successful cases of increase of load factor by 100%, and others that are very limited to increase of 15%. The vehicle kilometers, very good results, reduction by from 60 to 80%. And of course, the emissions, depending again on the cases, from 25 to 80%. The urban freight centers, like the one that is works in Barcelona, the vehicle kilometers has been reduced, the load factor, however, not increased to the level that it was expected. Finally, multi-use and dedicated freight lanes for freight cargo vehicles, depending on their load factor, reduced the driving time by 25%. However, that did not succeed to increase the load factors. Related measures like parking, any booking, like low emission vehicles and alternative transport like bicycles, unattended delivery methods, they achieved reductions up to 30% of both vehicle kilometers and CO2 emissions. In some other cases, the unattended deliveries, as reported from New York, have increased emissions reduction up to 70%. What is coming in the future? The technology drives the changes in last mile, and depending on the level of the desired collaboration, as we describe here in this diagram, we see that today we have cycle logistics, e-vehicles. We started already applying big data analytics for facilitating logistics. The on-demand city logistics created solutions like crowd delivery, unattended delivery, on-the-go delivery, hyper-local logistics. And augmented reality is already part, or is expected to be part in 5 years from now, of the solutions for last mile delivery. Collaborative passengers and cargo transportation, when we're using public transport for serving cargo, are solutions that are started being implemented, but we're expecting more of them in the forthcoming years. Cargo matching platforms still operating, but there are further expectations from that type of collaborative platforms. Autonomous automated vehicles, they are expected to come a little bit later. We have pilot activities, however, there are more to be done in order to be part of the everyday last mile. What are the challenges we're facing now? First of all, lack of capacity and knowledge at city level in planning for sustainable urban logistics. Then there is only a few municipalities that they have people responsible for city logistics in the level of planning. They don't know how to start. They don't know how to react for solving the problems that are created every day from the urban freight transportation in the cities. Also, there is a lack of data about city logistics demand. If we ask a mayor how many passengers they are loading every day the city roads, they can provide answers. If we ask them how many tons of cargo they are coming in their cities, this is something that they don't know. And of course, if you don't know a problem, the dimension of the problem, then you don't know how to start handling it. The future last mile delivery, it seems that it will be more multimodal, multiple products in a parcel, and micro delivery will be the main dimension of it. With innovative vehicles, yes, as we said, in 5 to 10 years, and therefore our needs will change. So we need more stakeholders collaboration, application of shared capacity models in city logistics, and visibility ability for real-time replanning. The fourth point that we would like to mention here is that new infrastructure development and regulation framework like on-demand warehouse, crowdsourced services are delayed. And if the infrastructure of the framework is delayed, then of course innovative solutions cannot be applied. Another problem that we're facing is that the urban space is limited, and everybody is asking part of this urban space for passenger or mobility or for freight transport. And therefore, where the space is allocated, for what type of infrastructure to be developed, needs to be very, very justified. So all the solutions that are asked for urban space, they need to be very well justified. From the side of the companies are reluctant to adopt new solutions, also because they see a situation that in each city there is another solution and another regulation, and that is problematic for them. Finally, we have a lot of pilots, but we don't have general practices applied and economic viability and growth of innovative solutions when they start in a city. And this has to be solved. Let's see how the research supported the dimensions of needed for innovative last mile delivery. There are 4 dimensions. The work was focused on data, on indicators and evaluation, on new tools for supporting innovative solutions, and on competence capacity building for planning and for innovation. We have research projects that they deal with all these 4 components. We will mention and discuss some of these results now. About the data, as ITS is coming in the cities, data are available, and when we combine them with other sources, then like telecom data, like social media data, car floating data, of course, then we have a very good basis for analysis. However, these type of data that are available now, and they are very good for passenger mobility, they provide only few estimations about the freight transport. They are, however, a very good basis for situation analysis and traffic forecast. And therefore, fleet guidance solutions, they can be quite robust for facilitating freight transport. What we see in Europe is that in cities they try to collect this data, they try to analyze this data, and we see what we have here also in Thessaloniki, living labs analyzing mobility and freight in urban environment. There is an European Association of Living Labs. In Thessaloniki, we are operating such a living lab together in an ecosystem approach with our stakeholders of the city, and we believe we will move from data to knowledge for freight transport at the level of operation and planning. Because data are not there, from the early beginning there was the ideas of creating observatory. However, this approach has not found very good basis, because first of all, the companies, they don't provide the data, and also the cities, they don't have very good incentives in order to make them provide the data. However, there are projects like Novaloc and City Lab, Civitas project of Horizon 2020, which have made approaches for urban logistics observatories and ways that these observatories could continue collecting the data that are necessary, and how the stakeholders could collaborate on this basis. So there are suggestions for minimum set of data, for freight partnerships in order to create initiatives for the private companies. Still, however, the data are not available to the level that is needed for planning, monitoring, and evaluating. More information you can find in these projects. About the tools, they are mainly tools for optimizing resources and processes. So there are operation research methods for supporting last mile on-demand logistics solutions, which has been the subject of a lot of research, like dynamic demand forecasting, CERTH inventory and coordinated delivery policies, parcel pickup and delivery locations, decision for green parcel deliveries, and of course autonomous automated vehicles and drones implementation for city logistics. We will have and then define what it will happen in the future. So the dynamic demand forecasting, it's a powerful tool. It is very much this year supported by the era of software democratization, as it can be built in any open access platform. It facilitates machine learning algorithms that can be dynamically trained in historical data and dynamically deliver forecasts. The algorithms can anticipate when and where may demand occurs and trigger a last mile delivery before an order is even placed. We know that industries, they apply this type of solutions. However, it's not in all solutions that and pilots that we have seen in the cities that we have this type of methods and tools. So there are more to come in the future, and research can definitely support this dimension. CERTH inventory and coordinated delivery policies. It is a tendency. We have seen some pilots in the context of EU research projects. The idea is that a vendor management inventory model dynamically determines the safety stock levels and based on dynamic forecast, and therefore it's achieving high service level. We have seen cases where two warehouses are collaborating in order to secure safety stock levels at what is required by the customers. We have also an option, different type of solution have this under the same category, where we have dynamic vehicle routing algorithms that minimize last mile delivery types on demand points, because it handles an additional safety stock as a buffer to satisfy emergency deliveries. Again, the companies now start to agree to collaborate in this type of solutions, and we're expecting more research to take place and more pilots implementation to come. Parcels pickup and delivery hubs. This is the idea where the public transport stops. They are used as hubs in order to have parcel pickup and delivery by commuters who can receive a parcel and then switch to a green mode of transport like scooter, bike, electric bikes for the delivery to point near to their commuter final destination. In fact, we have this type of applications as pilots in Belgium and in Holland, and it seems that there are going to be more to see on that. And of course, operational research models need to be employed in order to implement such solutions for facility location identification, for matching algorithm for optimal matching the demand of parcel delivery with the commuter's availability for parcel delivery, dynamic vehicle algorithms, routing algorithms also for the commuters, but also for the vehicles breaking the parcels in the pickup and delivery hubs. Again, it seems that more public transport operators go to that dimension. So regarding autonomous automating and drones and last mile deliveries, we have some projects working. Actually, we have a few projects working with drones. But we cannot have commercial. We don't see commercial implementation, although it seems that the technology of drone is robust and can offer service. The cost, one dimension of the cost of the service, and another dimension, the regulation for landing the drones, are two problems that needs more research and more analysis before having full operations of this type of solutions. At the level of autonomous and automated, we have right now 2 projects running in Horizon 2020. Our institutes participated both, Sprout and Urbanized, where exactly the autonomous automated vehicles are used for pilots in city logistics and last mile delivery, and results they're going to start from 2021 to 2022. So much more to see before we consider this type of solutions being part of the delivery. The fourth pillar of research is capacity building, competence creation for planning and innovation. What we mean by that, we mean guidance for sustainable urban logistics plans, last mile logistics stakeholder conflict resolution, and support city-led innovation for innovative city logistics. Let's see what we mean by that. Due to a lot of problems and challenges the cities faces, EU created a guidance for sustainable urban logistics plans. Our institute was responsible for this guidebook, where in accordance to sustainable urban mobility development, which is now a complete document to be followed by the cities. An additional guide for city logistics is offered. You can find whoever is interested in this address, and in fact it gives the guidance to the cities how to implement each one of the steps of the planning process for city logistics. It presents data collection framework and multi-stakeholder collaboration techniques, tools for supporting understanding and mutual goals creation from the future between the public and private stakeholders, and of course the citizens. It creates checklists and milestones, so the process, because it's taking some time to be recorded there, to be checked against achievements. And of course, this guide also presents best practices that cities can follow. And what it concerns stakeholders' conflict resolutions, the successful taking up of last mile delivery business models require specific acceptance level by the stakeholders, and that is very difficult. We see here the decision makers, they don't take the initiative to introduce brave solutions for passenger mobility, but also for city logistics, and we see also the companies not undertaking such initiatives. This is because in any measure there is no complete analysis of benefit and cost for each one of the stakeholders. What it has been analyzed in the past is what we see here, urban logistics system thinking model development. However, in the future, we need to go from qualitative to quantitative approaches for stakeholders' conflict resolutions, and system dynamics might be the answer to that. There is at least one project that we know, Sprout, that is looking at that, but we are sure other also they consider that as a methodology in order to provide robust justifications for measure selection and implementation. Finally, on competence for planning and innovation, I would like to share with you the idea of city-led innovation. This is a possible answer in order to move from the pilots to real implementations for and practices. Usually we have a measure, a pilot is implemented, a company taking an initiative, a startup, a disruptive technology company can provide a very good solution, but then this innovation remains there, and usually after the period it cannot continue. This is because there is nobody who take care of the scale up of this innovation and achieve let's say generalization of this innovation in the area of the city. So here we believe that an open innovation community concept could apply, and in Sprout project we consider and analyze this type of approach for nurturing the startups toward a commercially viable offering, for gearing them up with the provision of existing innovative last mile planning and execution tools, so to make them understand what is their competitive advantage, and then align to commercial offering with social needs in order to be sustainable. The innovative city logistics solutions are very much related, as I said before, with ITS. So I mentioned here another additional guide to the Sustainable Mobility Plan Handbook of ELTIS, which is the Intelligent Transport System Sustainable Mobility Planning. And these documents are more also related to passenger and to conclude, for the future of city logistics, I think all of us, we need to do something. The consumers of tomorrow will be more sensitive to environmental protection. They're very demanding, however, about their deliveries, ready to share personal information for personalized services as a return, competent to new technology, positive to share economy models. There will be a lot of companies, technology-oriented companies, new startup and technology-driven companies, which will appear to serve the new requirements of the e-commerce. We have already some of them mentioned also in this transparency, and there will be more, and we need that we will never see and recognize their name, but we need to see how we'll make them robust to maintain their operations. Last mile service providers, they will face new types of competition, but they have also opportunity to adopt new forms in service of provision of last mile, as some like Uber Freight and Amazon Flex have made them, and need to examine the collaborative methods for city logistics, since all of them usually they are going over there. The local authorities, they will be required to make dedicated planning for urban freight transport, and they need to reconsider their approach up to now, since urban freight transport has a lot of impact in the inner cities. Finally, research and academia need to focus to new R-based and ITS-enabled methods and tools for innovative city logistics. More research in autonomous automated vehicles is needed until the moment they will be incorporated to last mile.